Pokemon, a simple game for kids, right? You collect fun little monsters, you engage them in what would probably be illegal dogfights in our world, enter them into competitions that test their beauty, pet them, breed them, which, whatever. Get different colored ones and hunt for those different colored ones, sometimes for days and months and weeks and years. And anyways, or just straight up have the power to erase the entire existence that is the Pokemon universe because you have the Lord of Space, Time, and the actual true capital G God on your team as a canonical 12-year-old or 10-year-old, depending on the game you're playing. Now, this entire franchise is my favorite franchise of all time. And there are truly some HELL fucking things in this game. Competitive Pokemon as a whole. Listen, I love competitive Pokemon. I watch Wolfie VGC almost on a daily basis. And I love watching competitive Pokemon. I know how the basics work too. I tried doing competitive Pokemon. It's not for me. It is too much math. And this is coming from someone who loves math. Okay? It is its own hellscape. But it is a fun hellscape. However, just the world itself is a hellscape. Why, you ask? Let me tell you. Is it madness? Absolutely. Does it start out fun and innocent, and as soon as you poke a little bit into that, completely crumbles and dissolves, and you fall down this huge rabbit hole, which even Alice from Alice in Wonderland would be goddamn envious about? Absolutely. Have I fallen down that rabbit hole many, many years ago? Most definitely. Have I enjoyed every second of it? Indubitably. Now, just some background. Pokemon is the highest grossing multimedia franchise, or just media franchise, ever. It is worth $98.9 billion, and it started in 1996. To put that into perspective, the second highest grossing media franchise in the world is Mickey Mouse and Friends, which released in 1928, a whole 68 years before Pokemon, and is worth $61.2 billion, which is $27.2 billion less than Pokemon. Now, am I responsible for a lot of that? Maybe, but my Pokeball and my Gengar plush still would disagree. However, am I more than what is considered healthily obsessed with this franchise? Absolutely. I love this goddamn franchise so goddamn much that I have started using goddamn a lot in this sentence, which I am realizing, and it's staying in this edit. On a side note, has anyone seen that new Gardevoir plush? The life-sized one? I'm a little worried about the things people are going to do with it, so if anyone ever finds out what they're doing with it, please do not tell me. Keep me away from that. We good? We good. Now, like I said, I'm more than a little unhealthily obsessed with this franchise. I know my top 168 Pokemon in order. Why? Because I got bored and went to favorite Pokemon picker and just kept going, and I was just thoroughly enjoying myself. If anyone wants the list, it's Typhlosion, Alolan Raichu, Infernape, Emblem, Mega Beedrill, Regieleki, Gigalith, Hydrapple, Reuniclus, Zeraora, Chandelure, Crobat, Trevenant, Luxray, Tyranitar, Annihilate, Flygon, Copperajah, Jianpao, Gliscor, Tinkaton, Dracovish, Mega Gengar, Surfetch, Phanpy, Donphan, Tapu Bulu, Aegislash. By the way, I'm reading these because there's a lot of them. Like I said, 168. Hisuian Typhlosion, Paradox Entei, which is Raging Fire, I believe. Basculegion, Arcanine, Mega Rayquaza, Chi-Yu, Heracross, Mimikyu, Krookodile, Haxorus, Noivern, Palossand, Greninja, Entei, Porygon Z, Swampert, Mega Pidgeot, Lugia, Gyarados, Golisopod, Togekiss, Azumarill, Shedinja, Mr. Rhyme, Mega Sableye, Mega Blaziken, Feraligatr, Alolan Ninetales, Primal Groudon, Iron Moth, Mega Charizard Y, Archaludon, Meganium, Zekrom, Galarian Moltres, Goodra, Wo-Chien, Hoopa Unbound, Toxapex, Golurk, Thunderous, Kingambit, Tornadus, Mega Banette, Kingdra, Crawdon, Snorlax, Groudon, Kyurem, Obstagoon, Hisuian Zoroark, Jolteon, Giratina, Sylveon, Corviknight, Yveltal, Rayquaza, Milotic, Blaziken, Mega Metagross, Ampharos, Bewear, Empoleon, Mega Tyranitar, Frostlass, Sliffon, Alolan Marowak, Dragapult, Iron Valiant, Tapu Koko, Totodile, Aegislash, Lucario, Torracat, Alolan Exeggutor, Garchomp, Iron Hands, Charizard, Golava, Mega Venusaur, Torterra, Bisharp, Scorbunny, Skeletor, Tapu Fini, Mega Mewtwo Y, Hydreigon, Galvantula, Beedrill, Cacturn, Guzzlord, Escavalier, Exploud, Gengar, Diancie, Raikou, Arctozolt, Cresselia, Electivire, Ludicolo, Como, Eevee, Keldeo, Dialga, Type Null, Linoon, Umbreon, Whimsicott, Volcanion, Scizor, Duckstorm, Lycanroc, Gallade, Lokick, Cyndaquil, Alolan Vulpix, Magikarp, Koraidon, Weavile, Fuecoco, Camerupt, Dipplin, Banette, Glaceon, Slithering, Piloswine, Regirock, Reshiram, Mega Charizard X, Mega Absol, Mega Abomasnow, Walking Wake, Galarian Articuno, Gigantamax Gengar, Orbeetle, Galarian Zapdos, Gastrodon, Iron Thorn, Kyurem Black, Giratina, Origin Form, not Disorder Form, and Mewtwo. Probably gonna completely fast forward that in the edit, but you know, that's all 168 of them. My point is, I'm a little unhealthily obsessed with this franchise. Look, frankly, there are so many things in Pokemon that if you give them like a minute of introspection, they have a completely different meaning. For example, Wailord and Skitty being able to breed. Look, I don't want to go into that. I don't want to talk about it more. I don't want to know the details. If you know the details, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Look, I know the reason is they're both in the same egg group, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to know the intricacies. If you find out the intricacies, please keep that to yourself, and maybe check yourself into a psych ward. I don't want to know. There's also the fact that multiple mainline Pokemon games have a random encounter with a ghost that has no bearing to the overall plot. Sometimes it does, I will give it that. But has no bearing to the overall plot and is just, you know, proof that death happens, I guess. Like the elevator girl in Lumio City. What the fuck? That scared me as an 11-year-old. Still kind of scares me to this day. The little ghost girl in the corner of Phoebe's room in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. That's creepy. That is creepy. She's in a ghost type specialist room. Phoebe, did you kill her? Phoebe, did you kill her? Oh, let's not goddamn forget about the books in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in the Canada library that just straight up tell you, oh, in the original Japanese, in English they censored it, but in the original Japanese, just straight up tell you, oh yeah, Pokemon and humans used to get married. What? You're telling me that life-size Gardevoir plush used to be, you know, a life-size Gardevoir? Kensuke Mori. Look, and everyone knows about the disturbing Pokedex entries. Just a couple, a lot of child killing in them. An egregious amount of child killing in them. Mimikyu just wanting to be loved, but anytime anyone sees it, they drop dead. Which, by the way, happened to Meowth multiple times as a running gag in the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime. Fucking Phantom being the spirits of children who got lost in the forest? Like, who is writing these Pokedex entries? Oh, then there's just Pokedex entries that, you know, kind of concerning. Magcargo is said to be hotter than the sun. What? That should burn anyone alive. No way is it that, I mean it is that. Ah, my eyes! Ah. And let's not forget, competitive Pokemon, learning it takes a while. It's just, whew. Shout out to everyone who does it. Don't know how. But I enjoy watching it, so keep doing it. I know I'm just talking about depressing stuff right now. I promise I'll get to cool facts in a second. Just give me a couple. The entire existence of Ultra Beasts, half of them come from ruined parallel worlds. Hell, that's the entire point of the Ultra Necrozma storyline. The motherfucker came from a world where he destroyed it, so there are people trying to save other worlds. They come in like hazmat suits and shit. Like, huh? There's also like really subtle things. Now I'm getting on to the cool stuff. It's like really subtle things. For example, if you go in N's room in Pokemon Black and White, you have there's a broken music box that's continuously just trying to play, kind of signifying like N's childhood and like how it was not the greatest, and he's just trying to relive it. There's so many other minute and overt and subtle and not so subtle things in the entire franchise that make it so cool. One of the main points that I made this video to talk about is the fact that Pokemon teams actually have, like from NPCs, have actual thought put behind them. And you're thinking, the random trainer with 6 Magikarps has thought put behind him? Well, I don't know about him. Probably, maybe, I'm sure there's some reason other than, you know, getting his ass whooped. But I'm talking about like the main villains and stuff. For example, Ghetsis. That motherfucker, who might be missing an arm, by the way. We never see his right arm in certain sprites from Black and White 2 onwards. So, might just be missing an arm. Don't know how. But his entire team is actually based as a counter to his son, N. For those of you who don't know, you battle N at the end of Pokemon Black and White. And after you beat him, Ghetsis comes in, says N is useless because he's just a great, great dad, isn't he? Just a fantastic father. Comes in and just essentially jumps him and then fights you and's like, I'm gonna take over the world now. Now, you think, oh, okay, he just jumped us because End failed. Whatever. His entire team is built as a counter to End's entire team, proving that he was gonna, this Father of the Year was gonna jump him, regardless of what we did. Wanna know how I know this? Well, he has direct counters on his team. Like, he has his Bishop for End's Vanillux, completely wrecks it, whatever. However, his main Pokemon, his Hydreigon, is purely made just to counter End's team. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm gonna read this from my notes because it's a lot. But he has Dragon Pulse for End's Legendary, Fire Blast for the Vanillux and Klinklang, Surf for the Archeops, and Focus Blast for the Caracosta, Vanillux, Zoroark, and Klinklang. Firstly, that all I realized from that, and this is genuinely a mid-recording realization, good God, does End have a severe fighting type weakness. And he has an Archeops, which, while it negates his fighting type weakness with the flying type, it does have Defeatist. So, on top of that, this poor Hydreigon in later games has Frustration at max power. For those of you who don't know, Frustration is a Pokemon move that increases in power the more the Pokemon despises its trainer. This Hydreigon hates Getsus so much that he has Frustration at max power. And he's also holding a Life Orb, which damages him every single time he attacks or just does anything. Which just shows that Getsus does not care about his Pokemon, and all he thinks of them are as tools, as opposed to the entire ideology and preaching he was doing to the entirety of the Unova region about how Pokemon are friends and we should all let them go. It's because he wanted to be the only one with Pokemon so he can take over the world. Okay? Getsus, you suck. Best villain though. Well, Cyrus too, but cool villain. And then a more happy version of this is your rival in Pokemon Gold and Silver. I'm just going to call him Silver, because that's his default name. He starts off as a scumbag, and is a scumbag throughout the game. He steals a Pokemon from Professor Elm's lab at the start of the game. He just keeps, being a douche canoe the entire time. However, throughout the entire game, he has a Zubat, and that evolves into a Golbat. And every single one of his teams has it. Later on, after you've shown him the error of his ways in the Dragon's Den, you realize that he really has seen the error of his ways, because later you see him have that Golbat evolve into a Crobat. You don't see it physically, you battle a Crobat, so you assume it evolved. Now, why is that important? Because Crobat is a Pokemon that only evolves with Friendship. His previous teams also had Pokemon with Frustration on it. Now they have Return, and they have that Crobat. It just proves that Silver's learned from his mistakes and is actually trying to be a better person. And it's just heartwarming to see. And I do love Silver's design. And the fact that he was abandoned by his father doesn't help, so I understand where he's coming from. I'm just realizing, bad father is apparently a theme in Pokemon. Getsus, Giovanni, Norman. For all of you saying Norman's not a bad father, man makes you move to an entire new region that immediately does not live with you and lives in a different city. Dude, Father of the Year. Look, this entire video is just me rambling about something I love. It's just me yapping. That's what most videos on this channel are going to be. I like yapping, okay? I like talking about my hyperfixations. And if you like hearing me yap about my hyperfixations, consider subscribing. It's okay if not. This is just an outlet for me to talk about things that I want to talk about that no one will sit down and listen to me about. Because I love a lot of different things, and I just like talking. So, if you like hearing me talk, and you like the videos, if you made it this far, you probably do, hit subscribe. It'll help. Thank you.